Grab a cup of joe, buckle up, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Rhythm of the Road podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every one of you listening. And have you subscribed? And are you following? Because if you haven't, why not? The directions were easy. All you have to do is open the window and click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the follow button. It's really that simple. And isn't it funny that some of those simple things that we do, like they're so hard to do? Go to the gym 5 days a week and eat healthy and make good choices and drink a gallon of water and all of those things. Like those are simple directions to follow. Yet most people don't follow them. And then they get mad and then they wonder why. And so this conversation was sparked from a conversation this week I was having with a friend, and we're talking about onboarding clients, like a new client. And I said, I just had this blessing of a client that just started, and I was like, it's been so easy and such a breeze to onboard this client because they followed the directions. I said, first we do this, and then we do this, and then you purchase this, and then we do this, and then this happens, and then we get this information, and then we start you, and then you go. Like, just laid it out piece by piece by piece, and they followed it. And it's been wonderful. And it's been so simple. And then you can set them up for success. And then ultimately, that's your success as well, because it makes your job a lot easier going on down the line. So why is it so complicated sometimes to just follow directions? Like, right? I'm a guy, so what's the first thing that we always hear? Like, did you even follow directions? Did you even look at a map? Like, why are you trying to put that thing together if you just have a bowl full of parts and screws and all of the things and don't know what you're going to do next? But if you would just follow the directions, it would put itself together. There's a reason that somebody spent the time to do step 1 and then step 2 and then step 3 and then all the way through step whatever the total is to get you to the finished product. Yet we just want to tear that thing open, get all the pieces out in the room and start putting it together. And so, guilty as charged, I definitely did this in my younger years. And now I'm like, I don't want to work that hard. Could I put it together without the directions? Sure, maybe. But why? Just follow the directions. Make it simple for yourself. Then you might find some other joy or something else that comes out of making that, like laughing. Like my son and I have put together a ton of furniture in this year because we were helping outfit some new offices. And I was like, this is so much easier that we have the directions. Now, after you do 1 or 2 and you have 5 or 6 more of the same thing, sure. But by then you have the process down because you followed the steps one by one by one by one to be successful and get to the completed final product. And then you did it another time and it was like, okay, now I got this. And now you can do it 4, 5, 6 more times, right? So the process then becomes that much easier and more simple, really, because you don't have to really think about it. It takes you longer to unbag and unpackage all the things than it does to actually put it together because you know how to do it so fast and you're not stopping on each one of those. So think about this like when you're going through your week. So whether that's something that you're doing personally, something that your team is doing, something that's happening with your business or something that's happening with your kids, like how much easier would something go if you just follow the directions? Because there's a reason someone created those directions. I love using like Loom videos. Loom is like a online cloud-based software that lets you do screen recordings so that you can capture your screen and you can have video of you if you so choose, and then the audio to allow you to talk someone through the process while they're watching you do it right on your screen. And then that's there forever. And so that's a great way to create SOPs so that you have those procedures forever inside of your business because they're much easier. People prefer to watch a video and hear you talk than they do to read a Word document. Because yes, they'll get it if they have the Word document with the text and maybe some images that have screenshots, which are okay or maybe outdated now because you have a new upgraded operating system and so nothing looks like that anymore. If you're working in the Windows world, sometimes that happens all the time. But if you do video, then it's just there. And then if you need to update it, you just go in and redo that video. It's already there. It's super simple. It takes you whatever amount of time that task takes, and you can chunk them down into small itty bitty tasks. You don't have to put a 35-minute video together. You'd be better off making like 8 of them that are like 4 minutes long or 4.5 minutes long or less, because they're more bite-sized and people can take that information in. Then if they have questions, they can just go back to that part rather than being like, oh, I got this 35-minute video out. Somewhere in there is the information that I need. So there's a little pro tip and a hack for those of you that are making those and using those videos as SOPs for inside your business, especially for onboarding purposes or training a new task or bringing on new people. Like if we're bringing on a new editor, I have a system that they go through for training on how to edit audio or how to work with video or how to work with our clients' files or any of those kinds of pieces, because I've already done the work once then. And then they just have to follow the directions, which makes it very simple. And all we're doing is asking them to follow directions. And if they can't follow directions or don't want to follow directions, that tells you something. And then you can just move on. So as I'm thinking about like my week or those I'm interacting with, or if I'm trying to build new things, like I think about the directions and the steps and the process to make it simple for the end user, because then it makes it simpler for everybody moving forward. And then we can adjust as we go, right? Because you're going to have experiences and you're going to actually find ways to make it more simple, or you're going to find ways to make those directions more detailed and more succinct so that the result is even simpler. And most likely is going to become a little bit more efficient. So what's the takeaway? Follow directions, right? Most of us now, we can't even use a map or know how to get anywhere because all we do is use our GPS and we follow directions. So 15, 20 years ago, we used to use these map books where you had to follow, and then if you went off the page, you had to go to that page that it referenced and flip. You might have to flip 30, 40 pages, and you get to that part, and then you got to refine the road, and then where does that enter? Right? Now, we just click the address on our phone and click go, and we can choose routes based on whether we want to save gas, or we want to get there the fastest, or we want to avoid certain kinds of roads. And then we just follow it. It tells us exactly what to do. It tells us what lane to be in. It tells us what speed we should be going. Not that most of us follow it, but it tells us what speed we're supposed to be going. And then we just execute that task in however many miles or however many feet until we get to our final destination. And then what does it say? You have arrived. So following those directions created a very simple process for you to arrive at your goal or your destination or that product or that system or that procedure. Keep it simple, follow the directions, and just make your life a little bit easier today. If you liked what you heard, or if you just need to send some jokes to someone who doesn't follow directions very often, send them this episode. Maybe they'll get a laugh or two, or maybe they won't and they'll just send it back to you. Either way, I'm thankful because that's at least 3 more times that this video gets viewed or this episode gets listened to. And here we are, building a community of Rhythm of the Road podcast. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you down the road.
Thanks for cruising with me on this episode of Rhythm of the Road. Remember, the journey itself is the destination. Until next time, keep the rhythm flowing, and we'll see you down the road.